Yo guys, how's it going? AK Moto here, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do an oil change on a Yamaha TTR110. Now my bike right back here is a 2013 year model, but because they haven't really changed in the last decade pretty much, this is going to be the same process for pretty much all years. Again, since like 2012 or so, these bikes have stayed the same, so let's get right into this. I am also going to show you guys how to check and service your air filter on this bike. It is just as easy, if not easier, than the oil change, and we're going to be doing that right after. Now here is everything we are going to need for this oil change. Obviously we're going to need a drain pan or a drip pan here. We're going to need some way of measuring out our new oil and a funnel. You're going to need a 12mm wrench, or you can use just a ratchet and a socket. And then here is the oil I use. This is Yamaha 1040, just a conventional engine oil. This stuff works great, and it's really cost effective, really not expensive. And we're not gonna need any oil filter or anything like that, as this engine doesn't have one. Very first thing we're gonna do here is loosen our fill plug. All this is gonna do is just make sure we can actually remove our fill plug. You don't wanna go draining all your oil and find out you can't for some reason unscrew your fill plug. So that's always the first thing I like to do, and I'll just kind of leave it loose here, just like that. Next, if we go here to the left side of the engine, if we go real far down here to the bottom, I'm gonna lean the bike over so you guys can see this a little bit better. That plug right there is our oil drain plug. So here you guys probably won't be able to see the plug unless I lean the bike over, but I'm just gonna loosen that plug I just showed you guys. Again, 12mm socket or wrench, whatever's more convenient for you, and we'll get the oil draining. Alright, so we've let this drain for a while. Now we have it dripping to a pretty slow drip. I did go in and replace the crush washer on our drain plug here, so now we're just going to reinstall it. Get it nice and snug. No reason to over tighten it though, just nice and snug as you would with any drain plug. And then we can move to filling the engine with some fresh oil. Alright y'all, so we have all the old oil drained out, and now we're going to fill our bike. Again, this is the stuff I use, just some Yamaha 1040. I believe the OEM spec is 1030, but it really isn't that big of a deal for an engine like this. It's not picky, as long as you throw something gold in there. But yeah, so this bike takes 0.85 liters, or I like to measure my oil out in fluid ounces, so this is going to be 27 fluid ounces of oil. So we have filled the oil again, 0.85 liters or 27 fluid ounces. Now what we're going to do is we're going to run the bike, we're going to let it cool off, and then we're going to check the oil level. So here I'm going to run the bike for a minute or two, and then we're going to turn it off, and then we're going to let it cool off. And in that time we're going to do our quick air filter check, and today I'm actually going to be replacing the air filter. So let's get to that. Here again, we're going to run the bike for a minute or two, just to get some of that new oil circulated around the engine, turn it off, let it cool down so the oil can drop back to the bottom of the engine so we can get an accurate measurement. And in that time, we're going to check the air filter. Alright, so now for accessing our air filter, we're on the right side of the bike here, and we're actually behind our right side radiator shroud, is what this would be called in a full-size dirt bike. And we have a small little plastic clip here that we're going to undo just to give ourselves a little more space. Now from the factory, this plastic clip is a slightly different style. It's a screw style. Here I have a replacement one that's a little bit different, but the concept is the same. All you got to do is pop out this plastic clip, and it will just give us a little bit more room to access our air box right here. And just like that, by removing that little plastic clip, that allows our side panel here to flex a little more, giving us a little bit more room to work with. Now here on our air box, we have 3 Phillips head screws to remove. One right here, one here towards the bottom, and one towards the back. We're gonna get last. So here, we just gotta loosen these bad boys up. And then we have one more screw. This is again our third screw right here on the back of the air box, right by our exhaust. Now we can access our air filter. Now there is a breather line up here, but we don't need to remove that. All we gotta do is simply pull this air box apart, just like that. Just kind of pick that on out. Now here, as you guys can see, our air filter is pretty dirty. Now I actually know from the last time I serviced this bike, this air filter is starting to begin to accumulate some small tears in it, so I'm actually going to be replacing it with a brand new filter. So all I have to do here is oil this one up and put it right back in the bike. If you don't have a new filter, for those that don't know, these foam filters on these dirt bikes are reusable. You can reuse them pretty much infinite amount of times until they tear or rip or fall apart. You can just go ahead and follow your regular air filter service, whatever that is for you. Some people use Dawn dish soap and water. That works fine. I recommend getting an air filter oil and cleaner of the same brand and just using their system, but whatever works for you. Everybody has a slightly different method for cleaning air filters. But here, again, I'm just going to install this new one straight into the bike because I'm replacing this one. And yeah, let's do that. It's the exact reverse of installation. Real quick, I'm going to clean out the air box though, just to get some little pieces of dust out of there if I can. Alright, so I got the new air filter all oiled up and placed into the air box. And for assembly, it's pretty much just the reverse of disassembly. You put the cover back into place, put the 3 Phillips head screws back in, and put that plastic clip on to hold the side panel in place, and you're done. So let's do that right now. And again, if you guys aren't familiar with the whole process of how to clean dirt bike air filters, there's a lot of tutorials here on YouTube. Eventually I'll need to make one, but I haven't made one yet, but there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube on how to clean and oil your dirt bike foam air filters. So I definitely recommend checking that out if you haven't checked out a video like that already and are new to the process. Alright, so we got our air box all put together and dialed in, so our air filter service is completely done. Now the only thing we have left to do here is check our oil level. The bike should be plenty cooled down by now that we're done with the air filter. So all we gotta do is, it's like any engine, pull out the dipstick and check the level. Only thing to make sure on this bike is you actually have the bike upright, kind of like this, just not leaned over on the kickstand. Alright guys, and that's it. Quick oil change and air filter service on your 08 through whatever the present model is, TTR110. And hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Make sure you recycle your old oil, and yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.